What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new football news video where we have to talk about Steven Gerrard, my boyhood hero, the Liverpool legend, getting sacked after Aston Villa lost 3-0 to Fulham, and he was sacked even before Aston Villa players and Gerrard himself got on the coach, on the bus, to go back to Birmingham from London. And I just find that absolutely brutal that Gerrard, after getting sacked, he had to still, with the players and the whole club staff, go back to Birmingham on the same bus. But let me know, what is your reaction to this news? I think it has been coming because Aston Villa have really performed below their expectations of the fans. I think some Aston Villa fans who are pretty knowledgeable and realistic, they wanted the top 10 finish. I don't think they expected Gerrard to break into the top 6 this season. I don't think they have the squad for that, but also they are much better, miles better than 9 points after like 10 games or 11 games or however many they played. And in this video I will also tell you Jurgen Klopp's reaction to Steven Gerrard's sacking and Jamie Carragher's reaction as well. But I think the biggest problem for Steven Gerrard was that first of all, he didn't build a great relationship with the Aston Villa fans. He just never could have made that connection, which I find it quite strange because Steven Gerrard had a great connection with the Liverpool fans, but Aston Villa, they just couldn't connect. And also he didn't have a clear playing style, a clear identity as a manager. He's still probably figuring it out. And maybe in hindsight he should have stayed at Rangers for another 1 or 2 years. And this is why it's always important to test yourself in the Premier League, because in Scottish football with Rangers, Steven Gerrard worked wonders. They won the title after Celtic dominated in Scottish football for 9 years. They had 9 league titles in a row, and Steven Gerrard and Rangers stopped the 10 in a row, which Celtic fans were desperate for. And also Rangers had some very good results in Europe, but you couldn't really judge how good of a manager Steven Gerrard is. And now coming into the Premier League, I think he failed. I think he expected to do much better, but the Premier League is a ruthless league. I mean, Brendan Rodgers was an absolute god up there in Scotland. With Celtic, he won like trebles season after season. He had like a clean sweep of like 8 or 9 trophies in a row. And in English football, you know, with Leicester, he's just above the relegation zone. So you have to get the experience, and the big question is, what next for Steven Gerrard? Will he get another Premier League job? It's quite unlikely. Does he have the appetite to go down the leagues and manage in the Championship and try to bring a club up to the Premier League from the Championship? Or he could go the Xabi Alonso route and take over somebody like Schalke. I think that would be a brilliant job. Xabi Alonso is doing pretty well at Leverkusen, and I think that will be a great experience for him. But I'm not sure if Gerrard has the appetite to go abroad and manage in the Bundesliga. And I think the other big problem is you didn't really recognize what Steven Gerrard's like method and playing style is. Sometimes Aston Villa were pressing, but that not very often. Sometimes they sat back and counter-attacked. Sometimes they played with 1 striker, sometimes they played with 2 strikers, Dennings and Ollie Watkins, and sometimes they played with out-and-out wingers, sometimes they played with 2 strikers, you know, like a 4-4-2 formation. So it was not always clear what Steven Gerrard wanted to do, and I think this is it's pretty crazy, but it's pretty standard nowadays that in the Premier League, if you have a bad 10 games, you are gone as a manager. And of course Steven Gerrard didn't have like an amazing season last season, so he didn't have a lot of credit in the bank, if you like, with Aston Villa fans and probably with the board as well. But also I think Gerrard should have been given a little bit more time. The biggest problem, I think, is that Aston Villa spent big money in the past 2 transfer windows, and of course the board wanted to see an improvement, and that hasn't happened. And football ultimately is a results business. Gerrard couldn't produce the results for whatever reason. And I would love to see somebody like Jamie Carragher do an extended deep dive interview with Steven Gerrard after the dust settles, maybe in a week or 2, and I want to hear Gerrard's opinion on what he thinks went wrong at Aston Villa, because I think it's a combination of things and not just one thing that I mentioned in this video. Jamie Carragher's reaction to Steven Gerrard's sacking was this: you can always look at the players, but every manager knows when you get into a job, if the players are not performing at their best, it is the manager who is going to shoulder the blame. Stevie is well aware of that. I'm sure he will be disappointed with certain performances from individuals and the team, but when you go into management, you know the price on the ticket, and if results are not right, or whether the players are letting you down or not performing, it is the manager that shoulders the blame. That is always the case, and that is the brutal part of football management. And I'm really not sure if Stevie would go back into management straight away or wait maybe 6 months or 12 months. I spoke to him a few days ago about the upcoming games, and he is not daft. He knows the situation. It will be really interesting what he does next. That's not what I've spoken to him about, whether he wants to be a manager for the next 20 years or he will pick certain jobs that will appeal to him. That's the thing, if you don't go back into management quickly, people will forget you, and once you are out of the job for 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, if you are not Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho, you might not get another Premier League job offer. That's the thing. And Jamie Carragher also doesn't know whether Gerrard would drop down to the Championship or not. And this is Jurgen Klopp's reaction. So Jurgen Klopp said on Gerrard's sacking, "I'm sure he will come back from that. I've been 7 years at Liverpool. We have not met a lot for different reasons, but we created a close relationship and I've always followed him. Had a quick exchange this morning, nothing too deep. I can imagine it's disappointing for him because of the things he wanted to achieve at Aston Villa. We all get knocks, and it's about how you respond. These things can happen. A lot of great managers out there had to leave clubs for different reasons. Gerrard, I'm sure, we'll be back. So that's Jurgen Klopp's response. And also we have an injury update on Liverpool. Tomorrow is a little bit too soon for Konate, Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain. We can't rush it. It's a tough injury, only in parts in training. Konate will be in full team training next week, so he probably misses the weekend football. And Oxy is 1 or 2 weeks ahead of Naby Keita. What happens in the summer, no one knows at the moment. No injuries or comebacks from the West Ham game. So thankfully Liverpool have no injury worries after the West Ham game. 2 tough games in short succession, and now we have another against Nottingham Forest away from home, and the Nottingham Forest fans will be well up for it. So Liverpool players will have to be up for it as well. And we need a closer look who can start, who is fit enough to start. We only have today's session. Yesterday was recovery. And Naby Keita is doing like a mini preseason after such a long injury. What we can do in rehab with tough muscle injuries is everything but team training. Nothing can replace football sessions because it's a different intensity. So it's football part of a preseason for him. He can run a marathon, but he needs different movements. And Curtis Jones' injury, sometimes freak injuries, a finger in the eye, stress reaction too with young players, these things can happen. He's still growing, but it's perfect to have him back. An exceptional talent who can play different positions, so there is space for improvement for Curtis Jones. And today's video is very short because I'm about to leave on a family holiday, but I will try to upload on the weekend. I already have a career mode video going up probably tomorrow or on Sunday. I have it already pre-recorded and edited and uploaded for you guys. So thanks for watching, have a nice day, see you later, goodbye.